Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to take a look at a brand new 2020 model from Kizer. Now for those of you who's been on my channel before, probably know that I normally only review knives in Chinese Mandarin. However, in this case, because this model is so new and I haven't seen a lot of fellow YouTubers doing any full review yet, so I've decided to do this review in English, hoping that it'll reach more audience. So this little knife is called the M-Stealth. It is one of the many knives that coming out from Kizer's Bladesmith series lately. And for those of you who's not familiar with Kizer's Bladesmith series, it is basically Kizer's collaboration program with all the knife designers and custom knife makers. So lately they've been actually collaborate with a lot of knife designers and pumping out quite a few models, and especially this year. And today we're just going to especially focus on this model, the M-Stealth. So as you can see, this is a front flipper design, sort of a little urban EDC type of little knife. And it's not very big, although you know, some picture angle, or if you don't know the spec of the knife, you might think it looks pretty big, but however, it's not a big knife. The overall length is 7 inches. The blade length is just short of 3 inches, 2.95, and looks like the blade thickness is right around, probably just a little shy of 3 millimeters, which is pretty common for this type of little knife. And it also is very lightweight. It is a full titanium frame lock design. However, it feels significantly lighter than you know, the picture suggests. And the weight is coming at 2.26 ounces. So not a very heavy blade. Now let's do a quick size comparison. First of all, let's take a look at the large Spencer 21 and the smaller, similar size Ontario Rat 2. As you can see, the M-Stealth is almost identical size with the Rat 2. Look at a couple models from Spyderco, the Pair 3 lightweight, and also the Delica. Very similar in size with these two as well. And that's the small cut jack from Steel Wheel, and another new model from Kizer this year, the Kizer Swayback. Now let's talk about this knife. Things to like. First of all is the look. It does look very stealth, just like the name suggests. It's very stealthy looking, with a blackout blade and also a blackout titanium handle. So just like the name suggested, it is very stealthy, and it looks very attractive as well. It does not have a lot of lines that goes with it, so just a very simple and kind of angular type of angle design, and it's very smooth around all the corners and even the blades. So can't really tell or can't really complain about the look too much. And for a urban type of EDC knife, and aesthetic is definitely one of the very important factor when it comes to this type of little knife. You're gonna have to like the look to be able to carry it on a daily basis. And also looks like Kizer is kind of moving away from its signature spinning wheel or spinning swirling fan, whatever you want to call it, type of a pivot joint, and something like this. So that used to be known as quite a more like a signature design language from Kizer, and from recent years product looks like Kizer is kind of moving away from it, and some people like it and some people really not a fan of it. So I kind of like it, but well, it's not a bad thing they're moving away from it either. And the new pivot looks a lot more simple, and they're just, you know, I don't know if just this particular model or there's other models also are implementing the similar pivot. It's quite a bit more of kind of a Wii-ish looking pivot, and especially when you have a Wii to compare, it does look very Wii, which is not a bad thing. And the second thing that impresses me the most is the weight. This is a surprisingly lightweight knife, and for a lot of you that look at when it comes to a full titanium like frame lock type of knife, you would imagine that it'll, you know, weigh a little bit more than most of the other knives with a different design. However, this little titanium frame lock knife is surprisingly light, and it weighted only at 2.26 ounces, so that is a very lightweight. It's even lighter than the Delica and also the Rat 2, because they both have steel liners. I guess that contributed the weight a little bit more. And even to my surprise, when you look at the official numbers, it's even lighter than the Para 3 lightweight. This is weighted at 2.5 ounces, give or take, and this is 2.26, so slightly lighter than the Para 3, and with similar size and the similar blade length. So that's a good thing, the lightweight. And because people who's gonna carry this is not gonna feel that this weight in your pocket at all. And it also got a titanium pocket clip, which, you know, kind of really blending with the knife as well. And with a simple line, you don't even notice sometimes. Okay, now it looks good and it's also lightweight. Let's look at the functions. It is a very functional knife. First of all, let's look at the blade. The blade is a, you can call it a reverse tanto. Officially they call it reverse tanto, or it's more like a ship's foot as well, whichever you want to call it, but it's a very functional blade. The blade stock is not very thick, first of all, and S35 VN steel, nothing wrong with that. And also it is, the most important thing is the grind. It is a hollow grind, and hollow grind is very, very good in, you know, everyday cutting task. And so most of the EDC knives, personally I prefer use either a flat grind or a hollow grind, especially this type of knife when you don't want to do a flat grind and you don't have a super fat or tall blade, and a hollow grind will take care of that problem for sure, and you can still get it very thin behind the edge. And also the finger choil is very comfortable. It's not a big finger choil. For my small average smaller than average hands, it is pretty comfortable. And if you have a bigger or a more robust hands, you might want to be a little bit careful with the front finger choil, because it's not a big choil, so you don't want to really cut yourself on that. However, for most people, the smaller hand, this choil works good. And also it does not take a lot of the cutting edge away from the blade. It still get a very good amount of edge, and because the cutout on the handle pretty much is taking, you know, half of the choil so it does not eat up a lot of space from the actual blade and the cutting edge, which is also a very good thing. And the blade to handle ratio is not bad, especially when you compare to most of the Spyderco model. Now let's look at the action and lockup. It is a very smooth action knife right out of the box. It's running on bearings and very good detent, and it's not super stiff, and also it's just good amount detent. Perfect for this type of little knife, and doesn't really take much effort to flip open the blade. And the detent is strong enough to hold a relatively light knife, but you know, not too hard that it hurts your fingers. And the lockup is very solid as well, so let's take a look at it right at 50%, which is a very solid lockup. And the ergo of the knife is also very nice. It is quite comfortable, especially when if you don't have a big hand. Somebody like me with smaller hands will find this knife super comfortable. And you can see it's still with the you know, if you put utilize the choil, you still got a good amount of knife left behind here. And I could imagine even with bigger hands, it is still you know, a relatively longer handle that will fit most of the hands okay. And also it's with the figure choil, as I just mentioned, it's quite comfortable. And the knife also does not apparently to have any kind of hot spot, even when you know, put a really tight and strong grip to it. Doesn't really leave any hot spot or any apparent uncomfortable type of indent in your palm, so which is very nice, especially when the although it is quite edgy, as you can see. However, because of the fit and finish, all the corners and everywhere you can touch is being rounded up, so that also help out with you know, the full feel of the ergonomics. It is pretty comfortable, and I couldn't find any noticeable hotspot. Next, let's look at the fit and finish and also the price. The fit and finish of this knife is very nice for a knife of this caliber and for this price. It's listed at $144 on most of the major websites, and it's not a bad price, especially when you consider this little one is a full titanium frame lock. And with all the fit and finish that goes into it, as you can see, all the edges and everywhere you can touch except the point and the edge, everything is rounded up. And even the jimping, for a lot of knife at this kind of price range, often they would ignore, you know, any of those fit and finish around the jimping. And also with the hollow grind, because hollow grind is, you know, taking considerably more time to make, and so that's all, you know, time and cost. And doesn't look like Kizer have cut any corner for, you know, when they manufacturing in this knife, which is a good thing to see. So price wise, I think it's definitely a not a very expensive knife, and it with everything that come with this little package, the $144 price tag doesn't seems to be too out of mind. So a good price for this knife. Finally, let's look at the things that are missing, or things that people may not like about this knife. First of all, it's quick to notice that this knife does not have a linear hole. So if that's something you're looking for, and unfortunately this one does not have. But to a lot of people, for an urban type of ED, like this type of urban EDC, a lanyard hole is often not necessary. However, if you are a lanyard guy that you wanted to attach something to it, yeah, unfortunately it's missing a lanyard hole, and you can't even tie a lanyard around this backspacer here, because it does not have enough space between it, and you might be able to do something around the clip, but you know, that doesn't really look good. So yeah, that's the lanyard, it doesn't have it. The second thing I can notice is the pocket clip. It is really strong. Like it takes quite a bit of force, like a significant amount of work or effort to even get it moving. So I could imagine how difficult to, you know, really put this into a thicker jeans, or, you know, other type of material. It's just too stiff for it, although it does look nice. However, it is not a very functional clip out of box. You could do your own little DIY things to make a little improvement, but you know, I personally don't recommend doing that, because you could easily bend this out of shape, and it's hard to you know, get it back to what it originally looked like. So that's the pocket clip. And besides that, honestly, I couldn't really pick any other flaws or problems that I don't like about this knife. So in general, it is a very good design, and I like it very much and highly recommend it to anyone who's interested in. So if you're looking for a type of urban EDC or a small, you know, working knife, this is definitely a good choice. All right, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.